Hello again, fellow Americans. Well, our inept government strikes again. The Department of Homeland Security mistakenly granted citizenship to 858 immigrants that had pending orders to be deported back to their home country. Apparently, the government lost their fingerprint records. So all these immigrants had to do was give a false name and birth date, and bang, they skirted right around the system. What's more terrifying is that all of these missing immigrants are from special interest countries. That means these countries present a national security concern for the United States. In other words, countries that produce people who aren't exactly friendly to Americans. None of these countries or immigrants were specifically named, but I'm pretty sure we can all guess what region they're from. It's just a guess. This potentially disastrous mistake came to light in a report from Inspector General John Roth. His report went on to say that fingerprint records are missing for as many as 315,000 immigrants with final deportation orders, or who are active fugitive criminals. Great job, guys. Way to go. Even more shocking, apparently the government has known about the information gap behind these missing fingerprints since 2008. Yup, since George W. was president. So for every single day of Obama's presidency, the government has been aware that they haven't been keeping accurate records on these potentially dangerous immigrants. I get it. Everyone makes mistakes, even me. But this mistake is from the same government that claims they will be able to properly vet 110,000 refugees next year. These turds can't even keep track of 858 guys, and we're supposed to believe that they can keep track of 128 times that many people? Are you kidding me? And the government has known about this problem all along? The terror attacks this weekend, the San Bernardino massacre, as well as the Boston Marathon bombing were all perpetrated by U.S. citizens. So maybe it's not unreasonable to say that the DHS is even more incompetent than we ever imagined. So when Obama wants to admit 110,000 refugees next year and says, "Oh, don't be Islamophobic and paranoid, we know what we're doing." No. A, you clearly have no damn idea what you're doing, and B, there's nothing paranoid about safeguarding against these fanatics. Radical Islam is actively and passively trying to destroy this country. And to remain blind to that fact exposes your ignorance and makes me question your competency both as a leader and as an American. With 110,000 immigrants coming in from special interest countries, we're bound to let a few slip through that have been radicalized enough to want to do us harm. And that was the point of Donald Trump Jr.'s unfortunately worded Skittles tweet. But his analogy was spot on. If 21% of Syrians support ISIS, which, by the way, is the highest percentage of most Middle Eastern countries, and only 1% of those are willing to actually do Americans harm, that comes out to 0.002% of the population. Thus, out of 110,000 refugees, it wouldn't be outrageous to assume over 200 of them would be willing to act out violently on their hatred of America. I understand that Barack is sympathetic towards Muslims, but how many of these radical Islamists are we going to let into the country until his administration is happy? How many more massacres, bombings, and stabbings have to occur before he's satisfied? Donald Trump's idea of not accepting any more refugees from special interest countries seems like common sense. At least until we can find a way that we can guarantee they're properly vetted before we offer them residency right in our own backyard. This position isn't so much anti-Islam as it is pro-American safety. Again, that just seems like common sense. Why would we knowingly put American citizens in jeopardy? And keeping American citizens safe is one of the only responsibilities the federal government is granted in our Constitution. That's why when this administration places more importance on transgenders' bathroom rights than preventing terrorist attacks on U.S. soil, it confounds those of us with rational minds. Am I suggesting we put a permanent ban to all immigrants from the Middle East? Of course not. And neither is Donald Trump. But do I think that these incompetent boobs in the DHS are delusional if they think they can effectively vet 110,000 Syrians to ensure the safety of U.S. citizens? Fackin' ain't right.